Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the final four of the 2025 edition of the FIFA Club World Cup, and we have two very tasty, mouth-watering fixtures ahead of us at the semi-final stage. We have Brazil's Fluminense taking on England's Chelsea in one semi-final, which will happen on Tuesday, the 8th of July, 2025, and we have probably the tie of the competition so far. Spain's Real Madrid, the record winners of the competition, taking on the current European champions, Paris Saint-Germain of France. Now, for obvious reasons, a lot of people will be focusing on the second semi-final, which would be PSG versus Real Madrid, and rightly so, seeing as these two teams are full of stars, have been playing really attractive football throughout the competition, and have a lot of bragging rights on the line. But that being said, you cannot overlook the fact that Fluminense and Chelsea have both been pretty impressive in their own rights, especially the South Americans who, let's be honest, have not necessarily been favorites in most of the matches they have taken part in, but are here on merit. Yes, they may have been the victors in a much unfancied quarterfinal against Al Hilal, but then again, both teams knocked out powerhouses from Europe to get here. Al Hilal, of course, were the people who knocked out Manchester City, and Fluminense, in their own right, beat the runners-up of the most recent UEFA Champions League final, Inter Milan, and beat them in style. The Brazilians, of course, are going to lock horns against England's Chelsea, and Chelsea have also been pretty impressive in their own right. The Blues did beat a lot of European opposition to get here. They did knock out Benfica at the round of 16 stage, and with the exception of Palmeiras at the quarterfinal stage, they have not really been tested. Yes, Benfica may have been the ones to send them into extra time with a whole lot of controversy with the match being paused for a fair bit of time due to weather issues and stuff. But Chelsea are here and have been one to really keep an eye on, not just obviously at the Club World Cup, but it remains to be seen what form they will take into the Premier League and their Champions League campaign. Speaking of Champions League, the current holders of the competition, Paris Saint-Germain, who maybe felt were the favourites to win the competition, have also had a pretty smooth campaign so far, but now their biggest test outweighs them in Los Blancos, Los Merengues, Los Galacticos, Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid. The way PSG beat Bayern Munich last night was impressive, but then again, you know, when you are reaching the latter stages of a competition, the quality should only get tougher. And I don't think there are many teams tougher than Real Madrid. The way these current crop of Madridistas have adapted to Xabi Alonso's back three has been one to really take notice of. And some of their less fancy squad members have really capitalized on the opportunities that have been presented to them. And I'm talking, of course, about the Garcia boys. Fran and Gonzalo have really grabbed the bull by the horns and have made sure that they would be players to consider for the La Liga and Champions League campaign moving forward. And the same has to be said, of course, of the Turkish wonder kid Ada Gula, who has been providing assist after assist, and not just assist for the sake of it, but quality assist as well. PSG, of course, have the added pressure of having to keep quiet one of their former stars in France's very own Kylian Mbappe, who got on the pitch for the first time yesterday and scored right off it when he brilliantly finished a cross from Adagula with a bicycle kick to wrap the win up for Real Madrid. So it remains to be seen whether he would be in from the start, or Garcia would, of course, continue in his run of form on merits, and whether, of course, Paris would be able to keep Madrid quiet with the fact that they have 2 red cards. They got 2 red cards in the quarterfinal they got Pacho sent off, and of course his replacement to try and close the gap. Hernandez also got sent off. So we would see who PSG would bring on the pitch for the semi-final and whether that person will be able to do a yeoman's job to ensure that the side gets into the final and lift the crown after the showpiece event on Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will be the winners of the competition? Who do you think will be in the final on Sunday? Let me know in the comment section. Would it be Fluminense versus Real Madrid? Would it be Fluminense against PSG? Would it be Chelsea against Real Madrid? Would it be Chelsea against PSG? My name is James Brew, of the Brew Show. You can follow the Brew Show on your favorite social media platforms: Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube. And you can follow James on the same platforms with the inclusion of TikTok. Bye.